science of consequences. You see how you can elevate these concepts to become a science. But let us see how these concepts accumulate. How from these simple ideas coming together in order really like to ensure that the concept of Al-Akhirah, which we know is central in the definition of the responsibility of the human being, how Quran will go about it. It's not easy, my dear brothers and sisters. For us, I mean, because we take things for granted. We were raised like to believe in Allah and the day of judgment. But here, Muhammad ﷺ is really dealing with people who have very low level of abstraction. Okay?
Another thing is, if you take, for example, your daughter or your son, for example, if you put yourself within 200 people or more, your son or your daughter, 2 years old, they can come to you. They know you, and you are their mother or her father. But if you give them paper and you try to tell them to draw image of you, they will draw something really, there is no, you don't see the relationship in what they are going to draw. But through time, if you work on them, maybe they reach the 16 or 17 or 18 years old anyway, after years of training, they will be able to do so. They can draw you, and maybe they can draw in the cartoon way. They can just play while keeping,
prominent features.
Exactly. Here, the Quran is very powerful here, how it's the level of understanding of the issue of the society. You create image from them. If you حبل من مسد, you can see how you put this relationship, how the society is linked together. Abu Lahab, what type of environment they are creating. ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب, the wealth is becoming the goal and is that determine, this human being faith, and outcome. And it's very, Quran is able to take the issue to a level of image, make from them image, and bring them to awareness of that society. This is a very, very high level of understanding, because if you cannot take things to that level of awareness of them, there is no way to change them. This is also how human being is understood in very deep way. There is difference between other creature and the human being. The other creature, even for example, if you take a bird, they are born with that ability to do their nest. But as human being is different. It's idea. You need to develop that idea. As we say, to draw someone. Training is to develop that idea and that ability so you can realize that in your life. So again, to change the society here is how to bring this issue to that level of awareness. And this is very, very high level, to take them at the level of image. And just bring them to awareness of the society so they can start changing it. And this is very deep.
Exactly. And in other words, like if we really want to surpass that society, it's really system of values. Okay? The first step is to understand it. Without understanding it, you cannot really intervene, or we don't know where to intervene. And we have said it before that sometimes the problem that we are facing today, we don't know how to state the problem. We don't know how to diagnose the situation in order really to suggest solutions. And we bring solutions, but we don't really bring the issue itself. You see? So I think this type of dissection. And again, we are talking about 5 units of meaning allowed us today to understand society that lived for hundreds of years okay, following a certain system, okay, where is the position of the human being, what is the value of the biology and parental relationships, what is the value of wealth and achievements in that society. We can do it. That is the point, that we can do it if we look from inside. And then we can understand the social, the historical, okay, the anthropological facts that prevailed in that society. And it will give us a way how to really approach our own society. For example, how many of us have read something about the history of the United States? How many of us read the book of Tocqueville, Democracy in America, which is a very valuable, way of understanding the social aspects of this society. I'm just giving you an example. It doesn't have to be confined to these resources, but have something that will allow you to understand. Even in philosophy or people in the area of ideas, they could not. For example, Derrida understood Heidegger in order to surpass him. Heidegger understood Nietzsche in order to surpass him. Not to be confined in him. Not to be enslaved in what he has said. But without understanding Nietzsche, Heidegger could not have done it. Just I'll give you just an example. Okay? Today, for example, if I really want to push the society further, let me understand what Iqbal did. And don't stop at Iqbal. Or Shari'ati, or anybody else, or Muhammad Abdu, or Afghani, or somebody else. But really understanding them in order really to move forward.
I was talking with Brother Walid when he came before coming to the session tonight about this back home, at least in the Muslim world, and how we approach all these problems. So we try to concretize them in certain names. And we introduce the solution as by eliminating these names, we will resolve our problems. And I told him the example is, as someone has a field of tomatoes, let's say, and there's a lot of disease in the tomatoes themselves, and radiation, and a lot of type of bad disease. So instead to try to understand what is behind that, and go to the environment and the soul, analyze it and to see what's happening, he will just destroy the whole tomatoes and we say, hey, next year the problem will be resolved. And he will just put another tomatoes next year. But the result will be the same. But he's never able to see the problem. They are not to the tomato. The tomato just reflect what you have in that soul, in that field.
Underlying the problem.
So it's unless you understand that. This is why Quran tried to go through action. It does not even give the names. Commentators, they are very interested to give the names. The Quran is not interested to say names. Forget names. It's that environment that you need to understand. That these actions, that environment, if you want to change it, you need to understand that environment and bring it to the awareness of people, because people, they are, and change their behavior, because they are the real wealth and the real thing that can change that reality. And regardless how hard it is, there is no excuse as human being that you cannot change it. But you need first to believe in yourself and to understand that reality, bring it to awareness and your conscious, and use that ability of creation to create a new environment, a new reality that does not give that type of behavior. And